What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Angriest Man in Orlando show. We're starting a little early tonight just because everybody else is on, and I expect about 3 people watching this anyway. So, thank you, everyone, for watching this election night coverage of the election. In case you didn't know, there was an election going on tonight. So, yes, can you see that? I did get out and vote. I voted, got my sticker. It's there. Um, as the thumbnail for the video shows, RIP to Peanut and Fred, the squirrel and raccoon, whose lives were viciously taken away from them. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the show. Not sure how long this is going to go, so feel free to jump in and out as you feel necessary. I will be on going through stuff. We'll see what's going on with everything, and we will go from there. So, as I normally start out all my shows, I want to say a big hello to everyone in Carson City, Nevada on the Pacific time zone. How's everyone doing? Want to welcome everyone in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. How is everyone doing out there? Big shout out to Des Moines, Iowa. How's everybody doing out there? And to bring us home to the Eastern time zone, let's say hello to Greenville, South Carolina. How is everyone doing tonight? All right, so it's 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central, so 7 o'clock Mountain Time. So there'll be polls closing, and Pacific's about 6 o'clock. You've got about another hour or so. And then Alaska and Hawaii are rolling with those also. So why didn't I jump on earlier? Well, because why bother jumping on when there's no news to do? Okay, 7 o'clock, polls are closing on the East Coast. No one has a clue. Everything is too soon to call. So I'm not going to waste your time with jumping on with just 2 hours of, well, I think this might be there, and I think this one might be there. It's just not worth it. It's just, I run a business. So I got to make sure things are going well. I got to make sure the money's rolling in so I don't have to sit here and beg for money and ask people to donate and all that good stuff. I'm just on here. I'm pay for everything. And because of that, we keep this a free speech channel. You say whatever you want to me, the audience, whatever. It's come on in, join the crowd, and let's talk about what makes you angry. So, what made me angry about this was one of the longest um election cycles really ever, as far as I could tell. It was pretty much early summer, late spring when you basically knew which parties were running and where people were going to align with. It wasn't all that much of a surprise, and then it just dragged out, and we are finally here now at the end point. This is it. Whatever happens tonight, and we just move on tomorrow with where we're going from there. So, who looks like a winner? Well, right now, a lot of states coming in red right now. So we got some big ones: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Tennessee with 11 electoral votes, Indiana with 11 electoral votes, South Carolina with 9. So those are all going red to Donald Trump. Kamala Harris has New York at 28, Maryland at 10, Colorado at 10, New Jersey at 14, Massachusetts at 11. So right now, it looks pretty much cut and dry with who you think is going to win that state is pretty much winning. There's no real surprises just yet. But the night is young. So we'll be going through and seeing what happens. States on the East Coast that are still up for grabs. Looks like New Hampshire, Ohio is pretty close right now. Pennsylvania is still in it. Virginia is still in it. Georgia is still in it. So we will see as the night goes on who can take it. Yeah, so getting back, this was one of the longest election cycles, and I think everyone's going to be just happy to see it pass. And will things change tomorrow? Probably not. Things are not changing tomorrow. I was looking at the future outcomes of a lot of stuff, and the gears are already in place to get the machine rolling. This is not going to change anything immediately. This will be a process where whoever wins, with the effects will start to feel early, but the actual process of where it goes, it's going to take a while. For anyone who doesn't know about the United States elections, you have election night, and then you do not have the winner inaugurated till around January 20th, when then they will become the actual president of the United States of America. So the process still has a way to go before it is completed, and we wait for that to happen. Now, will you see things change drastically? I think they are already moving towards where they think it's going. If you've been watching the markets, if you've been watching consumer confidence, if you've been watching where people are shifting and moving, I think the big money is on Trump to win this one. I think they're pricing in that right now. It would be a surprise, but not a total shock to see Harris win tonight. The skeptics still believe, this is not done till the very end. We've seen close elections before. There was the infamous Bush Gore election of 2000 that came down to, I believe it was Florida in several counties. And we've had a few close elections before, so it's not unheard of to say that this may go down to 2, 3 in the morning to try to figure this all out. Right now, Trump looks like he's leading in North Carolina. So, but again, even in the Eastern Coast states, precincts are, I say 60 to 80% reporting. There may be a few states where, maybe close to 90% of the precincts are reporting, some of the smaller states and everything. So again, this is still early. That's why I'm jumping on, 9 o'clock is pretty much the time to jump in and go with it. And we'll go from there. Hope everyone was able to get out to vote. I know someone who actually waited 2.5 hours to vote. So that was crazy. Really, it shouldn't take that long. It really shouldn't, and I'm not sure why. You think with the modern abilities that we have, You think you would see, um, you know, things being able to go live and go vote and be able to get stuff rolling and everything. It's kind of weird how it takes so long to get election results. So, kind of strange, kind of weird. So, where do we go from here? Well, that's going to be happening next Tuesday. It's going to be some breaking news next Tuesday. Here, let me see if that works a little better. Well, maybe not. There we go. Background. Yeah. There we go. Now we can see it. Okay. So I'll have some breaking news next Tuesday on where we're going to go from here and how things could possibly be changing and what's going to happen. So that'll be next Tuesday. So I'm going to leave that little ticker up there so that if I see anything that changes or anything that needs to update, we'll go from there. Looking at the map right now, not really too much to look at. Um, oh, I will be updating it, so do stick around and watch what's happening. Yeah. So the current electoral college votes are Trump at 178, Harris at 113, and I'll be updating that as we roll along too. The winner needs 270 electoral votes to do this. So we will see how it goes. And as they roll in, I'll update that so you can get a better perception on what's happening with all of this. Again, I'm not going to clutter everyone with, the nuances of voting and where you feel things may have changed. Look, it's pretty simple. I don't think there were any undecided votes this morning and somebody woke up and decided, "Oh yeah, I think I better sit down and think about this." No, I think a lot of people knew where they were going. A lot of people knew who they wanted. All they had to do was make it in to vote. There were somewhere around 60 million people who early voted. So if you were able to early vote and get your vote in, that was great and helps out a lot because there were reports of 3-4 hour wait times at some of these polling places. So kudos to everyone who did do early voting. I did try to push that through the shows that have been leading up to this point. Hey, go early vote, go mail in vote if you need to, and go from there. So, uh, kudos to those who did it. So if it stays on track to where I think around 140 million people will be voting. Last election cycle of 2020, there was around 161 million that voted. I think maybe a little over 140. So if that's the case, by now we should be about 20 to 30 million people left to go through. Um, Not seeing any change on the voting numbers right now. Okay. So it's slowly trickling in. Um, and it's really just a waiting moment. It is only mm, 7:13 in the Mountain Time Zone, and then 6:13 on the Pacific. Once California is the big one. Now I'm pretty sure it's gonna go Harris. I have to see what the margin is to really tell um where it looks. So let's go local. Florida, Trump's winning it 56% to Harris's 42%, well over a million votes more in Trump's favor. Almost. Well, it's about 1.5 million. So definitely a big, um, big swing for Trump in, I guess you could say, his home state. He looked like it was gonna be a little bit closer than that, so that is a surprise. New York, Harris 71%, Trump 28%, and only 16.9% are reporting in right now. So let me see if I can screen share. Okay, so there's the map. So you can get a better look. See, Florida 56% to Harris's 42%. New York, Harris is 71% to 28%. Again, 16.9% reporting in. Massachusetts, a favorite of mine. Harris is only 70% to Trump's 27%, with only 6% reporting in. But I think you could pretty much lock in Harris for Massachusetts. New Hampshire right now, with 35% reporting precincts, Harris is at 54%, Trump at 44%. So about what 160, 130, about 30,000 votes difference between them right now in New Hampshire. So not too bad. Let's see. Harris in Vermont, clearly winning Vermont. 64% precincts in, as that just updated. Michigan right now looks like Harris 52% to Trump's 45%. We're looking at only 9% of the precincts reporting in. Ohio just now going red. Trump 54% to Harris's 45%. Over 50% of the precincts are reporting in right now on that. So Fox News is calling it for Trump. Uh, it's close. It's close. So let's see if that changes the figures there. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So let's just do a quick update on here. And there we go. So Donald Trump's at 195, Kamala Harris at 113. All right. So looking down at the map, again, nothing West Coast is reported in. And so far, with the exception of Ohio, I am a little surprised with Ohio. Everything looks like it's pretty much going the way most people thought it was going to be. Texas, 53% Trump, 44% Harris, 57% of the precincts reporting in. I know some people were thinking, a lot of California people moved to Texas. They could swing it the other way. A lot of the immigration vote was going to swing it the other way. It does not look like that. And there was another thing with the immigration vote. I think a lot of immigrants came in, but from what we saw, a lot of the immigrants were, you know, criminals being released from prisons in other countries and sent over. A lot of them were just people just trying to get over the border and get into the country and find a job. They weren't really um enthused or engaged with any of the politics. They knew if they could get in, they could get what they needed to get started, and then they would just work their butts off and go from there. They never actually thought, "Oh, do I have to do something? Do I have to like vote or anything?" So even then, people are now coming and saying, "Hey, if you want to keep going with the stuff, we need you to go vote. We need you to go vote." But if you're here illegally in this country and you're not really sure what stuff is or where stuff's are you really actually um, going to actually vote and, you know, possibly maybe think I might get caught. I might not have my ID. They won't take me. Will I be arrested? Oh no. What do I do? And so it's, it kind of, I kind of think that a lot of immigrants weren't going to bother showing up to vote for this election for the simple fact that they have no idea what's really going on, um, how the whole election system works. They were just being told they needed to go show up for Harris. So I really don't think the vote was as big as everyone thought it was going to be. Now I could be wrong. I'm not seeing any early numbers that sway it. You had a lot of immigration to Texas, to Illinois, to New York, to Massachusetts, and the states really pretty much went the way they were gonna go, the way they've been going. I know they were pushing for Ohio, for Kentucky, Missouri, Kansas, and those are all, leaning red right now. So it doesn't look like the push for the legal immigration was going to make too much of a difference at this point. I think the biggest state you're waiting for right now is Pennsylvania. When you see Pennsylvania go, then you can kind of tell where we're heading to. It's it's going to be a long night. So everybody just strap in, and I'm going to leave this up for a minute and I will be right back. All righty. So I believe they're now calling North Dakota for Trump. So that's 3 more electoral votes. South Dakota also going Trump. So let's see. Yeah, I don't think that doesn't really change too much at all. All right, we'll go back to that in a few moments. But as it stands right now, Trump's at 195 votes. Harris at 113 of the electoral college votes. Whew, it's a little tough to talk out here. So, well, I am the angriest man in Orlando. And so I think we could go through a couple local things and see where things go. So breaking news, Florida rejects Amendment 4, which limited government interference in abortion procedures. So um the government can interfere. Well, the government can set restrictions for abortions, whether it be the term limit, whether it be certain procedures or something like that. So that was basically what that amendment was going to be about. That there weren't going to be any restrictions on it, and it was going to be basically have to be set up from new and go through the process of trying to figure out what could pass as a restriction. Also, other breaking news: Florida rejects Amendment 3, the legalization of the recreational use of marijuana. And those two amendments I was actually pushing to see rejected simply because the amount of advertising that was just bombarding everything was so much so that you couldn't really figure out what was happening. Okay, on with both sides of the issue, especially with the marijuana issue, there wasn't no one was really explaining if there were any restrictions. So, were you going to be able to just light up a doobie in the middle of Magic Kingdom or be at Universal Studios and be smoking a bowl and be at the Magic game or the Miami Heat game and be able to just light it up right there? No one actually explained whether any of that could actually happen. And I think that's where the other side took it and said, hey, do you want to be walking down the street and walk by 5 different people that are smoking marijuana and you have to smell it and you have to get the stench of it? So people, I think, felt like, hey, it could turn into just, every other street corner you walk down, there's the smell of marijuana. There's the smell of marijuana at restaurants. There's the smell of marijuana outside, parks and stuff. So I think until they actually kind of work out where you could have smoked recreational marijuana, I think that would have helped their amendment get better traction. And, it, I don't so much have, if you want to smoke marijuana, smoke it where it's not going to affect anyone. Okay. If you want to be at home, you want to sit in your lazy boy and you want to kick back and get high and dream about fucking dragons and all kinds of weird bullshit like that. I don't care. I don't care. The problem is people don't just take it like that. People always feel they have to interject into other people's stuff. So, oh, I want to smoke and then I want to go drive to Wendy's and go get a bunch of stuff. Great. So now you're on the road. You're doing about 10 miles under the speed limit, which is already in low anyway. You're creeping along at about 15 miles an hour when people are trying to get down the road at about 30, 35, maybe 40. And so you cause a distraction, which can cause accidents. I'm not saying you're going to be high and you're going to go crazy and you're going to fucking hit somebody. No, I actually think it's the other way around. You're going to cause the accident by inaction and not being able to move and being high. And I think that's the problem, is that if people could control it and be able to use it in a responsible It's a very loose term on that responsible way. I think more people would be open to, yeah, you can use marijuana. Like, no issue. The problem is people don't use it responsibly, then go interact in other situations where they shouldn't be, and that causes chaos. And people don't want that. So those two amendments got rejected. So will they try again? I'm sure they will with the marijuana one. That one has a very big backer behind it. And Mr. John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan Personal Injury Attorneys. So I'm sure next go around he'll be back with even more. Any other big news for Florida? Rick Scott wins re-election. Let's see. Any other big news? Da, 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 da. Let's see. Looking through for local stuff. I don't see anything. Harris projected to win New York, Colorado, and Delaware. We saw that on the map. Yep. Yep. Harris pretty much wins New England. They looks like they're closing in on New Hampshire on that. So again, I don't think this is really any new anything. Okay, so catching up on everything right now. Yeah, so we're at the point we're at right now. We can edit a little. A few more states have popped in. So we are now Trump 195, Harris at 117. It's still until California comes in. I mean, it looks like a very much an uphill battle for Harris right now. Popular vote is 30 million votes for Donald Trump, 27 million for Kamala Harris. Yeah, once we hit 10 o'clock, then you will really see the numbers start to shift a little because you'll have California coming in, Oregon coming in, Washington coming in. Arizona will start to report. So you'll see the big shifts then. Just to reiterate, Fox News is calling New Hampshire for Kamala Harris. Michigan still close. Wisconsin, just a lot of these states, it's just not enough reporting in on precincts yet to really make the decision. Yeah, they're just still tabulating. Well, Virginia is in with 56% reporting precincts, and Trump is ahead by about 48,000 votes. Let me see if I can show you this. Hold on a second. This is wild. This is really wild. Okay, so that's Virginia right now. Harris has 1.302 million. Trump has 1.351 million. Literally about 48,000 votes are the difference right now for who wins Virginia. That's what shows you every vote counts. every vote. So don't ever be told that, you sit on the sideline, you don't do anything, or oh, I'm pretty sure the state's just going to go that way anyway, so I don't even need to get out to vote. Get out to vote. You know, it's wild. It's crazy. Uh we just updated again. About 49,000 votes right now. Yeah. That's the difference for Virginia right there. We'll go into North Carolina. We're looking at about 100,000 vote difference there in North Carolina, with Trump at 51%, Harris at 47. I think Trump's got North Carolina. I think especially with the Hurricane Helene that went through. I think a lot of people saw the response to that from the government and are just not going to bother uh leaving the government as is. You do have your bigger areas like Charlotte, like Raleigh, that do lean Democratic. So she's gonna hang in there, but I'm pretty sure North Carolina is going Trump. Uh, uh, we'll go over to Georgia. Let me see if I can bring this down a little so we can see it. Georgia, sweet Georgia. Okay, so the difference here is about 150,000 votes or so. Trump's at 52%, Harris at 46.98%. I'm going to see if I can jump into Georgia, and right up around Fulton County, Douglas County, and Cobb County is the Atlanta area. And you see Harris is still winning that. But look at Cobb County. Not by much at all. What? 50,000 votes? Not by much. I was expecting a far greater win in the Atlanta area for Harris, as you see here in Fulton County. 72% to 26%. That's crazy. That is crazy. You go down Camden, Glen, this is around the Savannah area. Trump's winning big. There's Valdosta, I believe, is in Colquitt County. Or is it Mitchell? It's right around here. And as you can see, Trump is still winning big. Burke County, Harris has a big lead in. But the major area of DeKalb County, that's part of the Atlanta metro. 82% to 16%. Harris wins big right around that area. So, I'm gonna say I think Trump takes Georgia. I don't think Harris won big enough around Atlanta to hold the state, and I think it's gonna go. 75% of the precincts are reporting in, and Trump's at 52%. Harris is 46. I think Trump takes Georgia. So the other major state is Pennsylvania. So right now, Pennsylvania has Harris at 53%, Trump at 45%, and you're looking at about okay, it just updated. Harris at 53%, Trump at 42%. You're looking at around let's see, 150,000 votes in that one. And let's see if we can go into Pennsylvania. Now, Allegheny County, which I believe is Pittsburgh area, Harris is up 65% to 33%. So looking pretty big, almost 2-1. And then you go around Philadelphia, which is one of these counties. Berks, Chester, Montgomery. This is the Philadelphia area, all going Harris. But when you start going out here and you start seeing the outer counties, that's where Trump's winning. And that's what he needs to. He needs to win everything outside of Pittsburgh and Philly. Warren, which is, I believe, you get closer to Erie and stuff like that. Again, it's 50-50. It's a toss-up. Look at the voting. Only 4,100. Actually, no. 4,212 votes so far. Not a lot. Erie County with Erie, PA, which is what I was talking about. Only 519 votes are in Erie County. If you don't think your vote counts, your vote counts. And Harris is winning right now 58% to 41%. You know, crazy stuff. I believe right around this western part is Amish country. You see Trump's winning big out there. So, yeah, that's the breakdown of PA right now. And Harris seems to have a pretty good lead. 30% of the precincts reporting. So, it's still early, still still a lot of time to go. Once it hits 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, that's when we're really going to be able to tell where we're at and what looks like it can stick. Alaska has 3 electoral college votes. Hawaii has 4 electoral college votes. Don't seem like they're going to be the biggest thing to be looking at right now. It's all going to really come down to the swing states. Georgia, I think, is going Trump. North Carolina, I think, could go Trump. Pennsylvania is still a toss-up. Virginia, Trump is leading by about 45,000 votes right now. It's getting close in Virginia right now. Michigan is Wisconsin, Minnesota. Still too early to call. Polls are now closed in New Mexico. As you can see, Trump is at 50%, Harris at 48%. We go over to Arizona. Polls are closed. Nothing reporting in just yet. Utah polls will be open till 11 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So a little later than everybody. And California will also have polls closing at 11 p.m. Eastern. So we will have to wait quite a bit for that. So as it stands right now, this is where we're at. What? Okay. So Trump, 195 electoral votes. Harris, 117. And we will go from there. To anybody who's actually watching, hey, how's it going? How's everyone doing? So, welcome. Thank you for joining again. I hope everyone's having a good time. Hope everyone is enjoying tonight or possibly crying their eyes out. We'll see. It's again still very early to say who's going to win this thing. The Senate right now looks like a Republican majority. So if Trump wins, he would have the Senate on his side. So looks and it looks like well, it's still early for the House. Still early to tell if the House would be. But could there possibly be a Republican president with a Republican Senate and a Republican House? That would be wild because you actually do kind of want an opposing side in each realm. You want the legislative branch to be different than the executive because the president's vetoing power of bills that come from the House and Congress, that's supposed to offset. So if you were to have all of them on one power, which we have seen before, but it the system wasn't built for that. So it'll be really interesting to see if it were to be all Republican, how much would they get accomplished? Because that seems to be an issue that comes up. Because everyone thinks, oh, well, the the totalitarian totalitarianism, if I'm saying that right, the the conquest of these people would be so immense it would just simply wipe out the country. And though we've seen where the Senate and House were the same as the president, we've not seen that. And it's an issue that is something I thought about. And it's been brought up quite a bit through this whole thing of if this person wins, the ends of the country is coming. If this person wins, the end of democracy is coming. And the more you look at these individuals and where party powers could be and how much the government really gets done, the efficiency of it, honestly, I don't think anything would get done. I really don't. I mean, I think it would just go on. You we've seen, a recession. Before our times, there was a depression. We've gone through a civil war. We've gone through two world wars. We've gone through a revolution. And amazingly, the country is still here after, 250 years, 250 plus years. The country, soon to be 250 years, the country is still the country. Like, you know, we didn't even change the Constitution. We didn't change the way we were voting. We haven't changed the way the process was done, even in the late 1700s, early 1800s. So, and we've had a lot of different leaders through those years, you know, and people would say, well, I think if this person gets in, like they're just going to end it all. It's just going to be craziness and madness, and how are we going to get through it? Well, we got through it. We were able to make it through. at the best of times and at the worst of times. And there were some ugly times, but we made it through. And I think no matter what happens tonight, we're going to make it through. I heard a few Republicans actually come out and say, if Kamala Harris wins tonight, you just, wake up the next morning and you get yourself ready for the next battle, which would be in 4 years or even 2 years at the mid cycle. And for those who say, if Donald Trump wins, well, go and get a new candidate. Because Harris is not the future. Harris is not the future for your party. Trust me. But I want to go into that in a minute. But like I say, you get up and you prepare for the next battle. And you go on from there. And looking back at the election, I honestly think everything worked the way it was supposed to work. Okay. At least Democratic side. Let me go Democratic side. You put out a candidate that you thought could work until it didn't. Biden gets taken out. And they're left with the responsibility of who do we put in there? Now, a lot of people are saying, well, they picked Kamala because of the money situation. So the money situation was they had a large reserve in their war chest for campaigning. And the only way they were going to be able to use that money was if somebody already on the ticket was going to take over and run. So unless it was going to be Kamala Harris, you were not going to get money. Now, honestly, with the people they have, I think you easily could have raised the money again. I don't think it would have been an issue. I think the issue was, and I think this happened before anything was even announced, they were going to certain people and saying, do you think you would want to run for the president of the United States? We think you can win. We would back you 100%, and we would get everything you needed to make it. And I think a lot of people turned them down for whatever reason. Maybe they had already been there in the political realm and they didn't want to do it again. Maybe they were not trying to get into political realm. They may have been outside of it. And several individuals, I think, were approached. They were asked, hey, do you think you would want to run for president? We'll back you. We'll get you everything you need. And every one of them said no. So they said, okay, we know we're going in pretty much, with nothing to lose and nothing to win. What do we do? And I think that's when they came together and said, then you put out somebody that you don't care. If they're going to take the hit, they're going to take the loss, you put out somebody that you don't care about. And I think they took Kamala, they found Walz, they put them together, and they said, just go out there. Just go out there. And so there wasn't, a lot of push until the last month or so where you could honestly tell that they were paying most of the endorsers. They were paid. How do I know this? Well, look at the Cardi B endorsement, where because the teleprompter wasn't working, she had no idea what to say. If you are endorsing this candidate and you love this candidate, is what she said, you would know what to say or how to say it, or even fudge something at the moment to just keep rolling. If you couldn't even do that and you needed your phone brought to you so you could read the script that was given to you, there was no enthusiasm for that. So, even the push at the end to try to get Harris over, it just fell apart really quickly. And then you have the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump. You have the Joe Rogan interview with JD Vance. You have the Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk that just came out. You have the assassination attempts, multiple. You have the just last week, government officials breaking into a house. And we still haven't found the exact reason why. It's still a little bit of a mess, but breaking into a house and taking out pets. And yes, they were pets, okay? The gentleman was building an animal sanctuary with his wife at this location. They had horses, they had goats, they had multiple animals there. And two of the animals that they had were an orphan squirrel and an orphan raccoon. Yeah, this could have been a Disney movie sometime in the future. I don't know, but an orphan squirrel and an orphan raccoon by the names of Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel. And they're still working out all the issues of this mess because the details are very foggy. But you had government officials kill the animals who clearly, if you had checked these people out, could see from social media that these animals were looked on as pets. And for anyone who has a pet, you know, they become not only a pet, they become your friend, they become your child in some instances. I just heard a term called grand dogs, and the term refers to when your son or daughter has a pet of their own, that's your grand dog, because instead of grandchildren, your grand dog. So if you can't understand the story or you're not quite sure why or what was happening, just talk to somebody who has a pet. And they'll be able to explain to you that, they're part of the family. They're there to be friend, family member, confidant. People talk to their pets. So to have government officials raid the home, kill two of the pets just a week before the election, I think just sinks any chance of the incumbent. Because who's the incumbent? The incumbent is government. The incumbent is the one who's representing what it is now. No matter how many times she says, well, things are going to change when I get in there. No, you're in there now. You're in there now. Things don't change. You're just adjusting. You're just tweaking. And if the status quo at the time is not working, then it doesn't matter how much you tweak or change. It's not different. It's the same thing. So, blow smoke up somebody else's butt, but you're not this drastic new hip thing that just came in and you're going to do it all. You're not. And so I think if you have a story where government is doing stuff that people don't like, it hinders that. Now, do I say, well, Donald Trump must be the answer? I don't say he's the answer, but I say he's the better choice. And I think if you realistically look at it from a perspective, you know that the status quo was not what we wanted. We need to change it up. He is the only change that was coming down the line, unfortunately. I tweeted this out a while ago that hold on a second. That the race was basically between two old guys and a 70-year-old who could do push-ups. And if you really thought about it, that's really where we were. It was like these are the two best guys, or at the time, three best guys that were in the country that could run it. And I was talking with somebody who's far bigger in business than I am. And very nice man. Knows a lot. And he told me and a couple other people who were sitting around the table. He said, well, why? Why would you want to do it? You know, even if you're at the top of your game, it's not. I'm paraphrasing here. It's not something that excites people. You go in, you get dragged through everything. You know, look at what's going on. Like, where's the incentive to actually run? Because business people get told, hey, you should be president. You run this company, you do such a great job with it. It's built, it's wonderful, it's helping people. Why don't you go do it? And like he says, where's the incentive to actually go do it? And that's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing. When nobody wants to be the leader and nobody wants to do it because they just don't want to deal with the hardship of it and the possible, you know, being dragged through the mud. Now, unfortunately, with this election cycle, now you do have to look at assassination attempts. So I can understand if nobody wants to run in 28. But yeah, there's really no incentive other than you're power hungry or you want to be at the top of the list for people who give you a call. That's kind of it. That's So, a little bit of economic news. Dow futures have jumped 500 points and the Russell 2000 futures have climbed 3% as election results roll in. Yeah, if Donald Trump looks like a win, stocks are going to go higher. If Harris looks like a win, I think stocks will dip a little, but not much. Everybody's on this roll that they think no matter what, companies are going to come out with great reports. And the reason they're coming out with great reports is because they just lowered expectations. If you say, I can do 5% revenue, 5% profit on revenue in the first quarter, and you meet it, yay. And you say, well, I can do 4.75% in the next quarter, but you hit 4.8%. Hey, you beat your expectations. Yay, that sounds good. But you actually went down. And that seems to be the trend right now is they're putting out reports where, yeah, they're just moving the expectation down a little more and then they beat it. And then it looks like, oh my gosh, the company's doing great. They beat expectations. That's the headline. Their quarters are getting great reviews from everybody. So investors think, oh, well, they must be doing well. They're still, beating all the margins and everything. So it must be great. In reality, no, not at all. So we're going to take a look at the board right now. And let's see. So we've got Trump at 205 votes, Electoral College votes, and Harris is still at 117. Okay. So how did Donald Trump move up? Well, he got Montana, Wyoming, Utah thrown into the mix for him. So again, California is going to be the biggie that's when you'll see it really go up. Oregon, Washington, I think will go Harris. So there's another 20. So 74 votes could get thrown on and put her just a hair over 200 right now if that were to go down. Again, the swing states, they're just not moving at all. With 79% reporting for Georgia, Trump is still ahead. With 65% reporting for North Carolina, Trump is ahead. Virginia, 61% reporting, about neck and neck right now there. Pennsylvania, 43% reporting in, and wow, 10,000 votes separate them at this point. So neck and neck. And the northern states, still not enough reporting to really call it. And even the popular vote right now is about 75 million votes altogether. And you've got maybe 65% of the country counted. Like I said, I think the total outcome's only going to be maybe 140 to 150 million votes. I don't think there was a lot of enthusiasm for this election. I really don't. I think a lot of people just said, I'm sitting this one out, and that's it. Trump wins Montana and Utah. So it really wasn't fun going through this. It was a march to just get to the end. And we're here. November 5th, the end. And a lot of people just said, I don't like either candidate. There's no one in the third party that's really there. And where do we go from here? And yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to, with the exception of RFK Jr., who ended up stepping out, going over to the Republican side. There was nobody with a lot of excitement. And I watched the Libertarian Party, and even their candidate didn't give me a lot of hope there. So if they plan on putting something together for a third party, I think you really either need someone who with a lot of common sense and a good grounded life, even if they have a little bit of, background noise, as long as it's not anything crazy, as long as you're not Diddy and the crazy shit that's going on with him, I think you could make some waves, at least enough to get you noticed. If you can hit 5%, you get noticed. If you can hit 10%, hell, you're doing really well. But to at least get somebody who can step in, announce their third party, get people, even if you do it from a grassroots movement, I mean, the ability is there, donations through text messages, donations through Facebook, donations through YouTube channels, you could get the message out and you can make a valid run. I think it could turn things around. 2028, it's going to be funny because Donald Trump won't be able to run again. I'm assuming JD Vance will try to run. For the Democratic side, I could see Shapiro from Pennsylvania, the governor. I could see him running. Um, Whitmer from Michigan might. Newsom from California. Again, I think it depends on how California goes. If California is struggling, he's not going to get a lot of traction because people are going to go back to the French Laundry restaurant incident and say, "Hey, man, he's just not connected to people," and he'll win California. He'll win California, but when you start pulling him out to the East Coast, maybe you get New York, but I don't know if you get a lot of other cities that go through with it and want him for it. So I think it's really like, Newsom would have a hard time just because the amount of time that goes through, you're looking at 4 years in the future. So I don't know if he still has the charm that he has right now, but 28 is going to be really interesting because you're going to have all these new faces. You're going to have all this new stuff coming out, and it's really like a turning point. And where the country goes from there, really, it's really going to depend on whoever wins tonight, where they leave it. If Harris leaves it in a good position, I think it leans Democrat again. If she blows everything up, yeah, it's definitely going slam dunk Republican. And, if Trump wins, Trump leaves it well, I think you could see leaning Republican. And again, if Trump is in a war at the time with another country, then yeah, I think a lot of people would just jump ship. So it'll all depend on this president leaving it for the next generation. That's where I see. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. It'll be 30-second break. I will leave you with the election map here so you can have a look, see where you might be. All right. Let's take that off. And I'm back. And we're looking at the map. And looks like Nebraska's going Trump. So that's all good. And as you can see, we are still 205 to 117. The 10 o'clock hour has reached us on the East Coast. And polls are closed in Nevada. And polls will be closing within the next hour on the West Coast. Arizona, 37% reporting. Trump, 50%. Harris, 49%, about 20,000 votes right there. Going over in New Mexico, 22% reporting. This is still early, but Trump has a small lead. Let's take a look at those swing states right now. Georgia looking very close, very close. About 220,000 votes. So Trump has stepped up a little there. North Carolina, close, getting close to 200,000 votes on that one too. So I think you could take North Carolina. Virginia, he is edging up a little more. And then Pennsylvania, he's up by about 73,000 votes, with 50% of the precincts reporting in Pennsylvania. So definitely looks like Trump may win Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia. If he gets Michigan, let me see there. If he gets Michigan, I think he's got a really good chance at winning this thing. And right now, 17% reporting in. He's off by 16,000 votes right now. About 16,000. Wisconsin, I think, is going Harris. I think Wisconsin could go Harris. But it's really close there, 2,000 votes. Or they could flip-flop. Harris could get Michigan. I just don't know with the way it's going with the auto workers. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But she is leading in both those states right now. We go up to Minnesota. Now, this should be a win for Harris with her running mate, Tim Walz, being, I believe he was the governor of Minnesota. Or was he a senator of Minnesota? He's from Minnesota. He's pushed Minnesota pretty big. But I think he was just mainly big in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And you go outside that realm and just not any traction at all. And right now, with only 2% reporting in, Trump's winning. See if we can go in depth. And I believe Minnesota, is it Hennepin? I believe it's Hennepin. They're neck and neck. They are neck and neck. Rice County, very close. A lot of these counties, very, very close right now. Even Cass County is 50-50. So unless Trump, really loses the Twin Cities, I think he's got Minnesota. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, I don't, you always think of the Walter Mondale election where he won, I think, like one or two states. And you always wonder, is there ever going to be another landslide election like that? And yeah, there were some people out here thinking this was going to be it, but no, there's a little bit of a fight going on. There's a little bit. Just because I think New England is just so Democrat, so liberal, and even New Hampshire with their famous saying on their license plates, "Live free or die." They can't walk away from the old Democratic Party. Because if you look at the old Democratic Party, they were very much the party of the middle class. They wanted unions to help you so you could make sure you keep staying in your job, make sure you're getting hours at your job, make sure you're getting fair benefits at your job. They were the ones to start programs that in the beginning were there to help get you back on your feet and get you moving. Now, they didn't expect you to stay on them, but They were there to try to help you when times got rough. So the new party, holy cow, man. Their main thing this time was abortion. You know, that was it. Abortion, abortion, abortion. They even were asking voters, why did you vote for Harris? Oh, well, I have daughters and I want them to be able to have access for their body when with health issues and stuff like that. So basically, you said, I want my daughters to be able to have the choice to have an abortion. And it's like, that's the craziest damn thing I've ever heard in my life. That's insane. Okay. Why would you want your daughter to even get into that position? Think about that question because that's insane. Okay, we've got some economic news breaking. Bitcoin surges to 75,000, a new record, as traders bet Trump has election edge. Trump has come out in favor of Bitcoin. So they're looking at it right now as a win for Trump, and they are heavily investing in Bitcoin right now. So maybe somebody knows something I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's looking crazy. We do have a comment, Mary Jade Skywalker. We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee, Oklahoma, USA. Okay. Okay. I guess so. I guess so. We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee, USA. Well, thank you, Mary Jade, for the comment. I'm not even sure where Muskogee, Oklahoma is, but okay. Perfect. But Oklahoma is going red, 66.79% to Harris's 31%. So there you go. Oklahoma keeping it red. Keeping it red. All right. All right. We're still rolling. Like I said, if you need to tune out, tune out. If you're still awake, come on back in, jump on board. We are going until we see the magical number of 270. Oh, my bad. Until we see that number of 270 and we have a winner, I'm going. I'm just going all night. I could do this all day. I have no issues here. Yeah. So it's looking like the economic environment says we think it's Trump win. We think it's Trump win. So I think he's got to be feeling pretty good right now at his headquarters in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. And I think he could take this. I really do think he can take this one. Just looking at the map. Let me bring the map down again. None of the swing states are being called right now. But even if you're looking at them, and we'll go through it again, with the ones at least on the East Coast, we see Georgia, Trump 51.32%, Harris 48%. 87% of the precincts are reporting right now. Okay. So you're only missing about 12.5% left. And Trump's got a good lead right there. North Carolina, Trump 52%, Harris 46%. That's a 6% swing. And almost 75% of the precincts are reporting right now. And I would say it's going Trump. Virginia, you've got 66%, almost 67, about 2/3 of the precincts reporting in, and Harris has a small lead right now, about 15,000 votes right now. 15,000 votes. Virginia, that is the state you should have got out and vote if you didn't vote today. That's the state. That is getting really close. Really close. Pennsylvania, Trump's pulling ahead in Pennsylvania right now. Up by almost 100,000 votes. And that's over 50% reporting also. That's 54% of the precincts reporting in. Trump, sizable lead. Sizable lead. Okay. Michigan, we're going to check in on Michigan. 20% of the precincts reporting in. Only 20, a little less than 20,000 votes separate them. Still early to call. Wisconsin, 48% now reporting. Harris has actually Trump has the lead right now in Wisconsin by about 15,000 votes right there, with 50% reporting in. Let's take a look at Wisconsin right now. Now, I've been to wonderful Milwaukee, so Harris clearly winning Milwaukee 67% to Donald Trump's 30%. But then you've got places like Madison, which I believe is Dane County. That's Harris 73%, Trump 25%. Where is Green Bay? Is that Manitowoc County or is that Marinette County? It's right up on Lake Michigan, so it's got to be this. Let's just say the area around Green Bay leaning Trump. Menominee, however you say it, there's terrible names up there, has Harris winning. Harris pulling in Bayfield right now. Pulling in Eau Claire. Not by much. Look at this. Harris is 53%, Trump's 46%. Only what? 3,000, 4,000 votes difference. There's not big swings. It's not a 70-30 win. Lacrosse, Wisconsin, not a big swing win. So, you've got these outlier counties, Marinette, Douglas, Washburn, Burnett, who have not reported in yet, St. Croix, Monroe County. I would say most of those are going to swing Trump's way. So, I think that's Wisconsin. Yeah, there we go. Right now, 12,000 votes separate them. I think Wisconsin's going Trump. Okay, we just got an update. Now 13,000 votes with almost 50% reporting. I think Wisco's going Trump. I think Wisco is going Trump. So there's another swing state for Trump. Even if he loses Michigan, I think he's getting very close to where, if he wins Minnesota, man, is that just a kick in the junk for Walz, man. I would just pack up and leave, go to California, and don't ever look back. Just don't. Just don't. Oh, we got some clarification from Mara Jade on the comment from earlier. Apparently, a Merle Haggard reference. I believe that's the first Merle Haggard reference we've had on this show. So thank you for that. Thank you for that wonderful reference there. There'll be no smoking weed in a lot of places. So we'll go from there. Again, we're waiting till the 11 o'clock hour, which is just about 30 minutes away to start really seeing the West Coast come in. We'll take a look at Arizona because I believe Arizona is closed and very, very close. Very close. As you can see on the screen, 49.68% for Harris, 49.52% for Trump, roughly 2,500 votes, and almost 50% are reporting in on Arizona, and you are 2,500 vote difference. That might be close. That might be a recount. Okay, it's changing a little. Trump now 49.72, Harris 49.48. Difference now of about 4,000 votes. So it did swing up. They must have reported in some suburb counties and stuff. But man, I wonder if Arizona could be a recount. That's going to be close. That's going to be really close to see. I would almost say that's within margin of error too. Like that's scary close right now. Has Nevada closed yet? Okay, Nevada polls are closed, but nothing is being reported yet. So we'll have to take a look at that. And then New Mexico, we've got Harris at 51.51, Trump at 46.75, only 30% in reporting. So still very early in New Mexico. So, how's everyone doing tonight? This wonderful election night here as we are going through. Doing this for everyone. I'm trying my hardest here, people. All I ask is just an acknowledgement. Thank you. Don't need the money. Just doing it for the love of it. So, yeah, it's 10:30 on the Eastern Seaboard, 7:30 on the Pacific, and we are here just waiting for results to tick in, see what's going on, how are things moving. I'm so curious that I'm going to check the Google News feed because I'm interested to see how the other side sees it. So I'm going to take a look. I'll let you know if there's anything that's surprising. NDTV, Trump ahead of Harris 3-2 in swing states that hold the key to Oval Office. Okay, we're getting some headlines out that they're thinking Trump's going to win this thing. Other than that, no, it's very much a calm, kind of an eye of a hurricane kind of moment right now, where everyone is just, well, it kind of looks like this, it kind of looks like that. Very kind of very eerie right now. I'm not seeing any like major excitement right now. Very much a when we know who wins, we need to look at this. Nothing really leaning towards anyone then other than that one article. Fortune magazine, 34 minutes ago, prediction market suddenly surged toward Trump as more election results come in. Interesting. So the money line in Vegas looks like Trump. Yeah, definitely. Wow, definitely. We go back to the map. Map has not changed all that much. I want to thank everyone for watching, for tuning in. If you're dropping a comment, thank you very much. And you keep the lights on here, literally and figuratively. So, where's the excitement at right now? Well, it's on the West Coast. As we can see, Washington, Oregon, California, and Idaho will close their polls at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock. Oh, 8 o'clock Pacific time. So we are waiting for those to come in. Those, I think, mostly will be a kick towards Harris. And as you can see from the numbers right now, she needs it. She is down by, let's see, 88 votes. So even if she gets Washington, Oregon, and California, that does not even bring her up to where Donald Trump is right now. So it's going to be very interesting over the next 25, 30 minutes when we start seeing those first runs come in. Dow futures are now soaring over 500 points. Bitcoin hitting new record high, which I've reported 75,000 right there. It certainly looks like everybody's rooting for Trump right now. Like this, wow, this is something to watch, I guess. Where do we go from here? Well, again, as long as we don't have any recounts, I think we could be looking at a winner by midnight. I think we could. Now, Arizona was looking very close. So we have to go back in and see. Okay, with 60, that's New Mexico. Hold on. Arizona, with about 50% of the precincts in right now. Wow. Okay. About 1,100 votes right now separate with Donald Trump leading. 1,100 votes. So I'm pretty sure that's within the margin of a recount. That's crazy. Like, it's coming down to Arizona right now. It is coming down to Arizona right now, being the state that you're going to have to look at. If he wins Arizona, wins Pennsylvania, wins Wisconsin, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, I think he runs away with this one. I think he runs away with this one. It's crazy right now. – I'm just checking the sources. Nothing else so far. So, yeah, I think we're seeing the beginning of Trump's second term. It's happening. So if you're woken up by fireworks tonight, please feel free to scream out your door, "Hey, I got to work tomorrow. What the fuck?" But there may be some overzealous people who just want to express their celebration and excitement for Donald J. Trump winning his second term. Not consecutive, but second term. So, definitely, I don't think that's happened before, has it? So he'll be the 45th and 47th president. That's an interesting thing to think about. And yeah, that would be an interesting thing to think about. So let's go to the Senate and let's see how that's looking right now. You've got Republicans leading with 49, Democrats with 39. Let me pull out of there. That way we can get the map up, and then I will pull it back up here. Okay. So, looks like Republicans flipped one seat and added one. And Democrats lost a seat. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. It could look like the Republicans get the Senate. Very interesting. Pull that down, pull the map up on House, where we are at in the House. In the House. Okay, this is interesting. So this is the map for the seats in the House of Representatives. Republicans are at 139, Democrats at 92. And look at that red. Holy cow. Holy cow. Definitely an uptick. So again, this goes back to what happens if Donald Trump wins and has the House and Senate all Republican. And essentially, even the Supreme Court. I mean, 3 of the justices were elected by President Donald Trump when he was in there. I'm not saying it's going to be some kind of crazy, tyrannical government, but it's going to be leaning very heavily conservative, Republican. So, do people Do people see a totally different way in America? Do immigrants start emigrating out and going back and saying, I don't think there's possibilities here? That's going to be really, really interesting. Okay, Fox News now projecting Trump will win Iowa. So that puts Trump now at 211 if he wins Iowa. We could be seeing the beginning of a whole different way of living right now. Definitely. Like, you know, if it had gone where the House stayed Democratic, maybe the Senate went Republican, I'd say, okay, things aren't going to really even change much. Things could change a little now. Things could change a little. Again, they won't change right off the bat. Like tomorrow, you're going to wake up. It's the same world you're waking up in. Nothing's really changing. But you'll see a few things where people have a little more pep in their step, some people. And things will slowly start turning, I think. Now, let's go into that since we've got a few minutes till the 11 o'clock hour. Housing is going to pretty much stay the same. Okay, the 30-year mortgage rate has gone back up to 7%. So even with Trump winning, people are not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, "Oh, I can go buy that house now that, Trump's in there. That's what I was waiting for." No, because these are the same rates from about a year ago when people started slowing down the buying then. The prices have dropped a little, 10, 20, 30% in some cases, but they haven't dropped to levels that most people want. The South and West are going a little faster than the Midwest, which is basically the central zone, and the Northeast, simply because a lot more houses built in that area during the boom. So there's a lot of inventory coming back into market, getting finished up, and it's saturating the market now. So you have a lot of people who are sitting on the sideline waiting for prices to come down. And while interest rates came down a little at the beginning of this year, they were as low as, I believe, like 6.3% for a 30-year mortgage. They have now bounced back and are at 7% again. And if you didn't have people buying at 7% before, you're not having people buy it at 7% now. I think a lot of people thought, well, if there's a Donald Trump win, it'll go to 5%. We'll go buy the home. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. So you're not going to see the big thrush to go buy a home. A lot of people will still be sitting on the sideline waiting. Now, Trump has a combative way with handling the Fed. He's not a big fan of Jerome Powell. So it'll be very interesting to see where the dynamic is between those two once that gets up and going. Still expecting the 1/4 point cut in November, which is actually going to be in a couple days, and another 1/4 point cut for December. So still anticipating those two, which would bring the Fed rate down to close to 4%. So credit cards would possibly go down a little if you're looking for a new car. The best time is actually probably going to be late December. If we get those quarter cuts, banks will see the interest rate going lower. They may preemptively lower their interest rate for auto loans. Cars are not selling at all. I actually went and looked for a new company truck and basically found a ton of them. Number one. Number two, dealerships were falling over backwards to try to do a deal, calling multiple times, sending multiple emails, multiple people from one dealership calling. So they're ready to move vehicles and they're ready to start really taking discounts and really making something work. So, what I would say is watch for the interest rate cuts if you're looking for a car, then go hit the dealership at the end of a month. If you want to wait for November, right? Black Friday. If you want to wait for December between Christmas and New Year's, um, especially New Year's Eve or day before New Year's Eve. And some of these specials would even roll into January 1st, 2nd. So you can definitely get very close to what you want. If we go into January and February, they'll tick up a little bit because it's tax time. People start getting tax rebates and they throw the money into a new vehicle. So you want to get in a sweet spot in between, and then you can hit it. But again, the amount of people that actually want to get into a vehicle that can get into a vehicle right now is still very low. A lot of people have negative equity in the vehicle they have right now simply from buying it within the last couple of years, where vehicles were so highly priced that you got into it and the value just dipped so bad. It was a very word I'm looking for, very exceptional time because there was never a moment since we've had automobiles that you could buy one, with the exception of very like collector's edition stuff and high-end stuff. Your regular modern car, there's never been a time when you could buy one and a couple years later it would be worth more than what you bought it for. There was never a time like that at all. So during 2021, 2022, and even a little into 23, value of vehicles were actually going so much higher. You could buy a vehicle, hold it for a couple months, put 1,000, 2,000 miles on it, 3,000, and then go sell it for more than what you bought the car for. I'm a car guy. Let me tell you this. This was not supposed to happen like that. This was not supposed to happen like that. This is not how cars work. You buy a car, it's getting used, it's never going to have as much life in it as it did. So therefore, the value is always going to go down onto how much life is left in that car. You can never get a car and drive it around and say, oh yeah, I want more money now for it. That never happened. And barring another pandemic event, that will never happen again unless you buy some limited edition car or some very high end car. You're not going to buy a Corolla again and have it worth more than what you bought it for. Never going to happen again. So people who went in and bought these vehicles now at these crazy, enormous prices are now stuck because the values are just dropping like right down. And so they're stuck. 5,000 negative equity, 10,000 negative equity, 15,000 negative equity. I've seen in some cases $25,000 people owe more than the car's value is. That's called negative equity. And so you can't just roll that into the next vehicle. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Well, number one, the vehicle is not worth enough to do that. If it's a $40,000 truck, you are only going to get a loan for about 40, 38. I mean, unless you have exceptional credit, maybe they'll go 41,000. But they're never going to give you that loan for $65,000 to pay off the other vehicle you're in to get into this new truck. That's not how banks operate. They won't try. The risk of losing the money is just so high that they will not bother doing that. So it's never going to happen. It was a fun time while it lasted, but people who have those vehicles can now get most instances not getting into a new vehicle. So you have all these new vehicles at the lot that aren't going anywhere. They're not moving. Some of them are just getting shuffled around to different dealerships. Some are being sold dealership to dealership. And you're just really stuck with what you got. So that's why I say the big major purchases, like you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, well, since Trump won, I'm going to go buy a new car. I'm going to go buy a new home. No, it's not going to work like that. It's not going to happen like that. But things will slowly move and you'll see it. And then we'll go from there. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where we go from there. Okay, we got some movement on the board. We've got some movement on the board. So let me update everyone with the movement. So we got some movement in Maine, and it added to both parties. Trump now 212 votes, Harris 119. So Donald Trump now is 58. No, hold on. Yeah, 58. 58 votes away, electoral college votes away from winning this thing. So there's a path. There's a path to do it. As for the general election votes, let's see, we're up to 94 million. 94 million right now. So I'm still holding with the 140 million. I think it'll be close to that. I think it'll be close. All right, we are coming up to the 11 o'clock hour on the Eastern side, 8 o'clock hour on the Pacific. And at 11 o'clock, we will see Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California close. Hawaii will be closing at midnight, and Alaska will be closing at 1 a.m. Eastern time. So if we have to roll till 1 a.m., we're rolling till 1 a.m. Honestly, I don't, because Alaska only has 3 electoral college votes. Hawaii has 4. I think it'll get pretty close to call from there. So let's bring the map up and see where we're at right before the hour. As you can see, Maine, their electoral college votes split. And we are looking at it as we see it right now. I believe Nebraska does the same thing as Maine and splits votes. So Nebraska, well, 3 out of 4 so far are for Trump. So I would almost say let's go into Nebraska here. Trump looks like a good solid win. 52% reporting. He's got a pretty good lead of about 28,000 votes or so. So I think he's got a pretty good shot on that. Getting all 5 votes there. All right, so we're going to go through the swing states. We're going to see where we're at before the 11 o'clock hour. Let's go into Georgia. Georgia with 90% reporting. Trump is up by about 3 points or so. Difference would be a 141,000 votes. So 90% reporting. I think Trump's got Georgia. We're going in North Carolina with 86% of the vote reporting. Trump is at about 51%, 50.89. Harris is at 48%. I'm feeling really confident to call North Carolina for Trump. I just think Helene just did Harris in. There was no coming back from that. So I'm calling North Carolina for Trump. Virginia, still very close. About 55,000 votes between them. About 75% of the precincts reporting. Harris is edging him out 49.95% to 48.38%. Let me just pull back real quick. Okay, let's go into Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is looking at this. 51% Trump, 48% Harris. 2/3 of the precincts reporting in. Trump is looking good with the lead. And like I said, at the 11 o'clock hour, Washington reporting in blue, Oregon reporting in blue, and California reporting in blue, which will now move up the stakes with Harris at 193, Trump at 216. See? Now we're getting to the fun part. Now we're going to see who's out there and who's going to really take this home. Who's really going to take this home? Let me move this down a little. 193 to 216. We got a great comment right here. Mary Jade Skywalker, just trying to inject a little humor. This is not a humor show. This is the Angriest show. We're always angry. We're always doing something angry. And I'm angry because this thing is not done yet. But we're going strong. Thank you for trying to inject a little humor into this. But we're going strong because Idaho is reporting in, going Trump side. So that puts him up to the 216 that you see. All right, let's cover a couple more swing states and we'll go from there. Pennsylvania, I'll show you once again. Looks like a win for Trump. Michigan is now going Trump side, 27% reporting. That is still still very low. So it's going to be a toss up. Going into Wisconsin with 60% reporting, Trump is up by 1.5 or so and looks very good. I think Trump can take Wisconsin. Going into Minnesota, Trump is is up big. 11% reporting of the precinct, so still very early, but man, I would have saw them more neck and neck just because of Walls. You think if they go back and look at this in like 4 years and 8 years, that they just say that was the stupidest pick ever? Like, worst pick of a VP ever. Ever. Beats Dan Quayle. Like, ever. I wonder if I hope somebody goes back and looks. All right, we're going to try to go into Nevada. Polls are closed right now. No reporting. Let's take a look at Arizona with about 50% reporting. It is neck and neck. Trump's up a little. Let's see. About 1,300 votes swing right now. I believe earlier it was closer to 2. So it is tight. Arizona is gonna be the Florida of 2000, I think. I think they're gonna have to double check Arizona on that one because that is tight. Let's go into New Mexico right now. Harris with 52.57 to Trump's 45.5. About 2/3 of the precincts reporting. So let's see if we can go more in depth into New Mexico. You've got these. Let me move this up a little bit so we can get that. You've got big county swings. Big county swings. Nothing's close here. So Torrance County going for Trump. Let's see down by the border with the border counties. Hidalgo is not reporting yet. We've got Grant County here going Harris. That's a surprise. You got Luna County going big Trump. Donna Ana County going a little more Harris than Trump. Okay. Then you've got Otero, big Trump swing. Eddy, huge Trump swing. And Lea County, big Trump swing. So you definitely would see the border counties going big for Trump, and your northern counties here not heavily for Harris, but definitely leaning Harris. Santa Fe County, definitely Harris country right there. San Miguel and Guadalupe. Very close. Holy cow. Look at that. 959 to 945. That is close with about all that precinct reporting. That is very close. Let's go into Texas if we can. Let's zoom out real quick. And let's take a look at those border counties and see where that's going. Now, I think everyone's going to know where they're going, but we might be surprised. So we'll start down at the very tip, Cameron County. Very close. This is surprising. Okay, Trump 52%, Harris 46%. Then we go over into Hidalgo County in Texas, and 49.75 for Harris and 49.43 for Trump. Okay, this might be where you're seeing, let's see, hold on. Webb County going leaning Harris. Wow. Jim Hogg County also leaning Harris. Brooks County leaning Harris. This is where I think you see the immigration vote that everyone was talking about. They're going to come into the country, they're going to see how great it is, and they're going to want to keep the leadership that's in place. This is where you'll see it. But as you go north, well, actually, we'll go over to the other side. I'm trying to get El Paso. If I could get that. Let's see. Let's see here. Is there? Yeah, El Paso County. Harris at 59.09%. Trump at 39.82%. Wow. Okay. Interesting. The immigration is showing up in Texas. And then you've got right around, I believe, Houston, Galveston area. You've got Trump leading Dallas. Harris is taking. Okay. I'm going to try to find San Antonio and Bashar County. Harris takes it 54% to Trump's 44%. So you see some of the border is going for Harris. You see some of the major cities going for Harris. And then I'm going to just scan away for a minute. And the rest of the state is going red big. So I understand some people had that inclination that maybe they could turn Texas, but when you look at all that red, I don't think you're there yet. If California really blows up and more California people move to Texas, then you might have a shot at that. You might have a shot at that. So this is the big map as we're looking at it right now. You've got Harris at 193, Trump 216. They're needing 270 to win. We are still waiting for swing states to fully report. So we're going until we get that 270 to win, and we'll go from there. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in and seeing the map and watching, and we're trying to get the victory to whoever wins this damn thing. I mean, holy cow. So I will leave the map here for you. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, and I will be right back. All right, we're gonna pull me up for a little bit, and I'll keep watching on that right now. It is 11:14 on the Eastern Seaboard, 8:14 on the West Coast, and we're just take a few minutes, just kind of go over how the night's been. Little exciting. Things are certainly moving in Trump's favor. The markets are responding. Crypto is responding. Everyone seems to be looking at a Trump victory right now. Does anything look like it could change? Well, it's still early in the night, but based on the map projections, it doesn't look like it's going to swing that way. I mean, there's going to have to be some dumps, some 2 a.m. dumps to really go and say Harris can win this one. I'm not seeing. Well, Nevada hasn't posted anything yet, so Nevada, we're waiting on you. Polls are closed. Nothing reporting in as of yet. So we're just waiting. I will say this has been one of the longest shows that I've done. So thank you for anyone who watched. Thank you for anyone who's watching on the replay. You don't have to keep watching. If you want to tune out on the replay, go for it. Just I'm sure someone will tell you who actually won this thing. If you're watching live, thank you for watching live. I know it's late, and a Tuesday election. Oh, these are never fun for people who have to work in the morning. But you can always have the fun surprise of waking up and not knowing and like figuring out, whether it be a text on your phone, a message on your phone, you turn the morning news on, have a cup of coffee, or you even just run out of the house, get to work, get to school, and you find out who actually won this thing. And it's a surprise. It's a little present to open up the next day and figure out. So, it's always something to be excited for. We're kind of sitting and waiting at this point to see where things go and how far are we going to go with this? Well, as far as we need to go. All right, let's pull the map back up. For now, there we go. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go through the swing states. As you can see, Trump's at 216, Harris at 193. And we'll start with the eastern side and we'll start going through. So we've got Georgia right now, 90% reporting. Trump with a pretty good lead. 51% to 48. So leaning Trump. Could safely say that I think Trump will take Georgia. We've got North Carolina. Trump is at 50%, Harris at 48. 88% of the precincts reporting. I think Trump gets North Carolina. Virginia. Harris is up 50% to Trump's 48%, with 76% reporting. This one has been flip-flopping all night, but with it being so close to DC, I think Harris could get Virginia. I think Harris could win Virginia. Pennsylvania, Harris at 47%, Trump 51%, 70% are precincts reporting in. I think we could say Trump takes Pennsylvania. I think so. It definitely looks pretty strong for him. So now we're going to go over to Michigan. 31% reporting now. And Trump is up 51% to Harris's 46%. Interesting. About a week ago, I thought Harris had Michigan. Then, with the auto union workers and the layoffs and everything, maybe it could swing Trump. Maybe. And now Trump is ahead. Only 30% of the precincts reporting in. So that is early, but he's up. Wisconsin, which I think will go Trump. 64% of the precincts reporting. He's 50.7% to Harris's 47.85%. I think Trump wins Wisconsin. And Minnesota, let me move this down a little. Trump's at 61% to Harris's 36%. Only 16% of the precincts reporting. I think Harris will climb a bit more. I originally thought Harris had this state. I did not think Trump would get a win here. But perhaps the damage has been done in Minnesota and they're not buying Tim Walz. We go down to New Mexico. New Mexico right now with 69% precincts reporting. Harris at 52%, Trump 45%, 45.99. Harris could win New Mexico. Possibility. She's up 40,000 votes. Not a very, population-wise, not a very big state. So it may be tough to try to come back on top of that. Arizona, I'm calling too close to call. Just dead heat pretty much. And only 50% of the precincts reporting in. Just unheard of. That's crazy. Nevada's not reporting in yet. California, 16%. Harris takes it. Now, these numbers will shift a little because nobody's reporting in yet. But Harris will definitely taking the win in California. Let me move this map up a little so we can see the other two states. Oregon, with about 58% reporting in, Harris wins 55% to Trump's 42%. Washington, 57% of the precincts reporting in, Harris 59%, Trump 38%. Again, I don't think anybody was surprised by her win on the West Coast. If you were, you really haven't been there, and you probably haven't been watching the news either, and you probably don't watch the show either. So So right now we're looking at Harris with 193, Trump with 216, but the popular vote is getting closer. So altogether, they're at 106 million votes right now. 106 million. So how many states we got left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 states left to really decide. I think I'm on the money with the 140 to 150 for total vote count, because you're at 106 now. Arizona, New Mexico, Minnesota, not a lot of people. Georgia's got a lot. Virginia's got a lot. North Carolina's okay. Pennsylvania has a lot of people too. Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, not so much, and then Alaska, no. Hawaii, no. Yeah, I think you could see based off. Sorry if anyone's getting sick right now. The popular vote is not going to hit 2020 numbers. It's just not. And I think it'll be between 140 and 150. Close to 140, though. Close. Okay, if you want to know anything, you want to ask any questions, feel free to throw it out now. Take a few minutes, compose ourselves so we can go. And this is like this is the time where kind of hang back, see what's going on, and go from there. Ooh. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching this. If you're watching it live, watching it on playback, thank you. There were so many choices to make tonight that I'm happy you made the choice to watch this one. Honestly, there was anybody with a camera tonight was doing a stream, trying to get clicks, trying to get views, trying to get anything that they could. And so I thank you for at least spending a little time with me as we go through one of the longest elections and possibly the angriest election. So thank you so much. Happy you could be here. And we press on. We press on. Okay. To those of you that wish to leave, feel free that if you want to leave and come back, I'm going till we hit 270 and we'll go from there. If anyone wishes to ask any questions, feel free to ask it. So once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Was just leaving a little time there to see if anybody wants to ask any questions or anything. Yes, it looked like I was a mannequin, but I swear I'm still here, still going. So we'll take a look at the map. 216 to 193 as it stands right now. Just waiting for counties to report in to get some final numbers on stuff. Let's see. We'll do a quick scroll of the questionable states. Let's start with Georgia. Right now, 91% reporting in. He is still up by 2%. The vote. It's getting closer and closer. North Carolina, 88.75% reporting in. Still a 2% hold on North Carolina. Virginia, 77% reporting. A 2% hold for Harris right now. Pennsylvania, 51% Trump, 47% Harris, with 76% reporting. That is a tough hill to climb right now. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for that one. Michigan, 33% reporting, a third of the votes in, and Trump is leading 52% to Harris's 45. Wow. I thought Harris had it. They do have a Muslim population up there that is very big, and thought Harris could have pulled that. But, let's click into the state. Let's see, are there any counties not reporting? Saginaw's not reporting. Mason's not reporting. Kent County is reporting. Ingram's reporting. Oakland's reporting. Wayne County reporting. Leelanau reporting. Huron County reporting. And then the Upper Peninsula, which is there's not a lot of people up here. So, yeah. And you can just tell when you only have about 900,000 votes in a county, there's not a lot of people up here. So you're not getting these precincts in. Here's one, Iron County, with about 1,440 votes in. Trump wins big. Yeah. Dickinson County's got about 10,000. Okay. That's decent. Delta County, about 18,000. Schoolcraft. Again, you start getting into the lower numbers. Mackinac, Chippewa. Then you start, a lot of Canadians that moved in. You get those up there. So it's not, sorry about that. It's not like the major counties are not reporting, although Saginaw has not reported yet. Let me scroll up a little bit so I can see. Bay County, Gladwin has not reported. Okay. And then you have Mason County here. And the rest are reporting. Man, there's a big concentration here of Trump votes. All the way, even through the middle. Wow. Okay. So, other than Saginaw, I mean, I don't see her coming back. Trump may get Michigan and Pennsylvania. That's crazy. That's scary. I do see Trump winning Wisconsin. He's about 51%. She's about 47%. 2/3 of the precincts reporting in. And again, Wisconsin's the same as Michigan. There's going to be counties up in the north, not as many votes that are probably having some trouble getting the precinct reported. So that's interesting. Message here. Got to go. Phone out of power. Yeah, no problem. For anybody who does want to leave, go ahead, leave. You can always come back later if you want to, or just watch the replay, or watch basically the news in the morning, and you'll find out who wins. So we go to Minnesota. 46% now reported. Harris has taken the lead now, 55% to Trump's 42%. I was really curious to see how Harris wasn't going to win this with picking her VP of Tim Walz from Minnesota. So I think Harris can take Minnesota. I think she can. So as that gets closer to 50%, we'll better see what's happening. So New Mexico still leaning Harris right now. Almost 75% reporting in now. I think Harris takes New Mexico. Arizona, yikes, still neck and neck. I don't think that number has even changed since we last looked at it. And then Nevada, nothing's coming yet at all. So if Trump wins PA and North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, he wins this thing. I mean, because Harris is left with New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, which is barely 30 more electoral votes. Nevada's only 6. So let's say Alaska goes Trump, Hawaii goes Harris. You're not, I don't see a path for her. I do not see a path where she is, because she's still down 23. So yeah, she'd have to pick up PA, Michigan, Wisconsin, and maybe win in Arizona to even get close enough to beat him. It doesn't look too well right now. Does not look too well at all right now. Popular vote. Trump is still winning it, but it's about 111 million right now. 111 million. So yeah, I know. Let me just bring this back up. Got to go phone out of power. Listen, if your phone ever goes out of power, just turn on your TV. Watch me on any smart TV, any Roku, enabled TV, or even if you have the Roku device attached to your TV, and just simply download the YouTube app or the Rumble app, type in the Angriest Man in Orlando, and you can watch me on your TV. You'll be able to see the map a lot bigger. It'll make more sense to what I'm pointing to and stuff. So if you ever feel like, hey, your phone's out of power or it's dying or you're just, you know, not wanting to squint to watch stuff, download on your TV, YouTube or Rumble, type in the Angriest Man in Orlando, and you can watch me there on your TV like a regular show on any other station. So remember that. That way you don't have to kill your phone to watch me and follow along. Ooh. All right. Fox News is now calling New Mexico for Kamala Harris, which pushes her up to 198. So I believe I had that one. But yes, New Mexico just goes down for Harris. And yeah, with 75% of the precincts in, she's got almost 52% to his 46%. So that was a rough uphill climb for him. Not a lot of people out there. If you've ever driven through New Mexico, it's a lot of desert, few towns. There's Santa Fe, there's Albuquerque. But just a lot of land out there. So it's tough, you know. You're not always going to govern with them being the first people you think about, you know. So it's tough out there. A little surprising because it is a border state, and there's so much talk about the border and immigration and everything like that, that I'm surprised that Trump didn't do a little better there. A little surprised by that, but it does move us ever so closer to the end, where Donald Trump is at 216, Kamala Harris at 198. So Harris needs about 72 votes to win this. Trump needs about 54. And we are running out of states to go through. I think we've pretty much covered everything as of right now. So once again, thank you for watching. It has been fun. We are almost at the 3-hour mark. And we're going to try to go. We're going to try to go as far as we can. Certainly, I hope we can see 270 tonight. And South Carolina is going right now. Oh, North Carolina. My fault. I'm looking at the wrong state. Fox News is calling North Carolina for Donald Trump. Let's see what those numbers look like right now. 90% reporting, so very close. Trump coming in at 50% to Harris's 48.5%. Again, this was a state that got hit very hard by Hurricane Helene, and I was going to be curious to see the turnout on that, because a lot of places, you know, were washed away and had to rebuild. But it looks like, you know, the turnout was still pretty good, and it's a win for Trump. North Carolina going in. So let's look at those numbers right now. Donald Trump's at 232 to Kamala Harris's 198. He is inching closer. Needs about 38 more votes, electoral college votes, to win it. He is still leading in the popular vote, 58 million to Harris's 54 million, which combined is about 113 million people voting so far. So he now only needs 38. So if he gets, if he gets out of what's remaining, Georgia, 16, that brings him down to 22. Pennsylvania, he gets 19. That brings him down to about 3. If he takes Michigan, 15, he's over 270 right there. If he takes Wisconsin, he's over 280 right there. Let's say he doesn't win the rest. He's there. He's winning this. Okay, we've got a big dump of votes now. Holy cow. So almost 60 million there to 55 million on her side. Let's see. We're looking around 115 million votes so far right now have been counted. And Donald Trump is still in the lead all around. Holy cow. Holy cow. We are seeing it. All right, let's see what we got for reporting in Georgia. Hold on. What pops up? No, not Missouri. Georgia. Okay, we got 91% reporting. Trump is still up by just as much as he was in North Carolina. I mean, unless they know something I don't know, I would say Trump takes Georgia. I think Trump takes Georgia. All right, the next one I said was Pennsylvania. They've got 81% reporting. And Trump is up by 4% right now. So, and then he would need Michigan, but it's only reporting 40%, so that is still low. Okay, Wisconsin reporting 69.82%. Trump is up very close to 51%. To Harris's 47.5%. So you're looking at 3.5% percentage points. I think he can take Wisconsin. Harris still has Minnesota. And we jump down to Arizona right now. Trump is up by about 7,000 votes right now. So that is a big lead compared to what we were seeing earlier. Where he was only up by, I think, 2,500, 1,300 at one time, now 7,000. So Arizona is kind of pulling away a little in favor of Trump. 50% of the precincts reporting right now in Arizona. For our friends in the outer states, Alaska, you'll be done at 1 a.m. Eastern time. Hawaii, just about 12 minutes away from closing. And we'll see where those 4 electoral college votes go there. So let's take a look at the board. Fox News is now calling Virginia for Kamala Harris, which I was leaning towards because she was slightly ahead. 82% of the precincts reporting. Harris has 51% lead over 47% for Trump. I think just close proximity to DC, Manassas, that area up there, you just have people, government workers, they're just they're gonna vote Democrat. They're gonna keep the status quo in there. So this does move things up a little bit. Kamala Harris now up to 211. Donald Trump up to 232. And we have one more state off the board. So nothing too controversial right now. If you've been listening the last 40 minutes or so, I've been calling these states pretty much. So nothing out of the ordinary yet so far. We're just waiting to hit that 270 number right now. You know? Just got to get there. And I think it'll only take a couple states to get there for Trump. Now, for Harris, where she's at, 211. Okay, let's say she picks up Nevada, that's 217. Picks up Minnesota, that's 227. I say Michigan, which would put her at 237, 242. She wins Alaska. It's 245. Wins Hawaii. That's 249. She's going to need Pennsylvania, which would bring her to 268. And then she's going to need Wisconsin will put her at 278, which would win, or Georgia, or Arizona. I don't believe we're going. She has to run the gamut and have Trump only win one or two more states. If Trump wins, with the exception of Nevada, Alaska, and Hawaii, if he wins three of those remaining states right there, Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, if he wins three of those, it's over. If he wins two, she can stay in the hunt. So it's almost midnight on the East Coast, about 9 o'clock on the West Coast. It's all coming down to, can he win? Can he win just three more states? That's it. Once again, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in, watched along, joined in on the conversation. Thank you for taking your time and donating it to me to watch. Okay, looks like Kamala Harris is going to get one electoral vote from Nebraska. So that'll add to her. And she should be up to 212 to Donald Trump's 232. So only 20 votes separate them. And with Pennsylvania being almost 20 votes, that could be the key. So let's look at Pennsylvania right now. If we can get it, Pennsylvania, we had it. There we are. With 81% reporting in, Trump is ahead 51% to Harris's 47%. The difference is around 220,000 votes, which was the lead in North Carolina and is the lead in Georgia. So looks like Trump could get Pennsylvania and Georgia. And if he gets Wisconsin, that's it. That's the win. That's it. We're just waiting for those final numbers to come in, and we'll find out where we stand. Thank you, everyone, for watching, tuning in. If you've made it to this point, we are almost at the 3-hour mark right now. Absolutely insane. I can't believe I did this, but this is what I get. This is what happens. This is how we get great, great coverage for events like this. And I hope you will come back and watch the future of this channel. It's going to grow, it's going to get bigger, and a lot more people will join in. And these events, big events, I'm happy to stand in and handle delivering the news to you. And I won't waste your time. I'll only come on when it needs to come on. And I hope I can give you the value that you expect from me. Thank you once again. So as we wait for those final moments to tick in at the end of an election day, as we move into the next one, I will leave you with this for now. And we will take a short break. And I will be right back. All right, everyone. I am back. Okay. Looks like we haven't had a change yet. Okay. Oh, right. Little radio silence there. Back on it. Let's see. So, popular vote, we're at 61 million for Trump, 59 million for Harris. So, we're looking around 120 million right now so far. We've got a projection. Republicans will take control of the Senate. Interesting. So again, we'll have a Republican Senate, possibly Republican House, and maybe Republican president. This is coming down to the end. We are getting closer. Happy Wednesday, November 6th. It is now midnight on the East Coast. If you are watching in the other time zones, it's still election day for you guys. So Hawaii is checking in, and Fox News is calling Hawaii for Kamala Harris. She'll get the 4 votes. I don't know if anyone's really surprised on that one, but so she'll move up to 216 to Donald Trump's 232, and we will go from there. Actually, it looks like the vote count may have gone down a little for Harris. It may have. Interesting. Okay. So with that, one more state is down. Hawaii is down. Alaska, we're still looking for another hour away from that closing. Nevada has still not reported anything. I don't think we'll need Nevada though. I think it'll be found out who is the president before Nevada even reports a number. So we'll start again. We're up in Georgia, 93% reporting Trump winning this state. Pennsylvania with 83% reporting Trump with a sizable lead right now in relative to the last few checks. Michigan, Trump still ahead with 44% of the precincts reporting in. This is going to be a surprise if Trump wins Michigan. That's a whole new battleground state. Like I didn't see it as much of a battleground state before. I think it did lean Democratic quite a bit, but wow. Wisconsin, battleground state. 75% of the precincts are in. Trump is up 51% to Harris's 47. Well over 100, well, just a hair over 100,000 votes is the difference right now. I think Trump wins Wisconsin. So right now, Trump's Georgia, Pennsylvania, surprise in Michigan, Wisconsin. That brings them over the 270. Minnesota, Harris is still in a good lead with over 50% of precinct reporting. Arizona hasn't moved since last check, so pretty much the same. And Alaska closing in another hour. So if what we're looking at right now stands, Donald Trump is your next president. Donald Trump is your next president. Whew. If you're still awake or you're watching from the other side of the country, This is a little bit of a surprise because I'll be honest with you, I thought something would happen at the end. I really thought possibly even like stopping the election and almost instilling martial law. I thought that could happen. It was certainly a possibility. And we're at a point where no, the votes are rolling in, the votes are being counted. As far as I could tell, there's been no reports of major disturbances. There's been a few light stuff. Um, but nothing nothing has come over the reports of any major disturbances. Um, so I think one of the questions to ask is right now is do you think there is election fraud even in this election if Trump wins? Yeah, there's election fraud in every election. There's election fraud in every election. Whether it be a ballot, did it they get counted as something else because something got smudged? Um, a ballot got mailed to a house where that person is no longer there, and the person who is there just filled it out and sent it in. Um, somebody who may have passed away, and the ballot came, and somebody else mailed it in because they thought that's who they would have voted for. That's fraud. That's the person not who is identified on the ballot voting for that person. So yeah, every every election has it. It just depends on how much is in there. Could it have affected the outcome? Could it have not have affected the outcome? So that is where you stand with election fraud. It's there. Does it affect the outcome? So I'm going to step away for just a second. I'll be right back. Hello, fine people. How is everyone doing out there? It is just after midnight on the East Coast, just after 9 o'clock on the West Coast. I'm just going to do a quick check in on other streams to see how people are. Feel free to get up, walk around. If you've been watching the full 3 hours, take a quick nap. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. All right, everybody else seems to be doing okay. Doing okay out there. Does not look like any crazy stuff going on right now. I want to thank everyone for sticking it out with me through this all. Quite an experience to try this. All right, so we're checking any updates on news sites and stuff. Yes, we already knew that. No surprises. Chris Wallace reacts to early results. Uh, it wasn't too surprising. It wasn't too surprising, but I think Michigan is going to be the surprise. We'll have to see where Arizona goes. If Minnesota should happen to swing back to Trump, that is a surprise one too. But I think Georgia going to Trump, Pennsylvania, PA going to Trump. I mean, you kind of felt it. Even Senator Fetterman kind of felt it, or is he representative? I think he's Representative Fetterman. He felt that the momentum was building in Pennsylvania and that Trump could take it. And looks like he might. Looks like he might. So the headlines are no surprise. Things going as they were going to. Here's a headline: Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. What is the blue wall? Here's what to know about states that have historically backed Democrats. Well, if Wisconsin goes Republican, I don't think the blue wall was there, other than the West Coast. I mean, you could see that. Though, well, see that right there at the West Coast. The blue wall was there: California, Oregon, Washington. The blue spot of New England was there, but everybody else just said, "No, we're tired of it. We want to do it again." So, Washington Post analysis: how counties are shifting in the 2024 presidential election. Yeah, they're definitely shifting. There's definitely a movement going through here. New York Post, presidential election swing states. Da, 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 da. So everyone's just kind of reporting now. Just kind of trying to find where to be. New York Times: Schiff wins Senate race to fill the Feinstein seat in California. So he'll be Senator Schiff now. Nothing too surprising. I think honestly, people just kind of want to get back to normal. They kind of just want to get back to a normal type of thing. And you've seen it over the last year. Let's get rid of the COVID mess that happened, the DEI, the absurdity of some people just being in your face with stuff. People just want to get out of it and get back to where you just lived your life, you know? And I think that that's the message of this election cycle. And with two candidates that you would never actually think you would want to see, but they're there. As crazy as this whole thing's been, it looks like it's wrapping up. So, yeah. Um, so, yeah. So really just waiting for, more precincts to report in. And just waiting to see. We'll go over those tallies again. Trump is at 232. Harris is at 216. The popular vote, 62 million for Donald Trump, 58 million for Kamala Harris. That's a grand total of around 120 million votes coming in. No states have been called yet, so we'll start looking through whatever's left. Georgia, 93% reporting. Trump 50.78%. Harris is 48.47. I'm still surprised they have not called Georgia right now. I'm really surprised they have not called Georgia. Georgia was looking the same way North Carolina was looking, and almost the same way Pennsylvania is looking. Trump has gone over 3 million votes in Pennsylvania. 85% of the precincts are in, but Harris is at 2.9. So it's about 150,000 votes. So it has tightened up a little. So I understand not calling Pennsylvania, but Georgia, with 93%, even at the 150 mark, I don't know. I don't see it happening for her there. Now, let's say she comes back in Pennsylvania. She's still going to have to run most of this. Like, let's say, where's he at? Okay. Let's say Trump gets Georgia. So that puts him at 248. Say he loses PA, but picks up Wisconsin. So 258. Okay. He's ahead in Wisconsin. 77% reporting. If he only picks up Georgia and Wisconsin, Kamala Harris could win. He needs Georgia, Wisconsin, and one other state to do it. That's where we're at right now. He's close, but there's still a possibility. Which is why I say, even coming down to the end of the wire, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So there are the numbers as you see them. Really just waiting for final tallies on numbers and precincts closing, and that's about it. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in, left a comment, even if you just stopped in for a little bit and stepped out. I want to thank you for giving me your time, and I hope you'll check out the show. Happens every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. It's normally a 40-minute show. Just, you know, whatever we feel mad about, whatever discussions come up for that week. Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Tune in then. We'll discuss all kinds of fun topics. General discussion, though, is politics, economics, and dating in the modern world. These seem to be the biggest topics everyone wants to talk about, and we get to go over every Tuesday night. So, seeing as how this Tuesday was an election, take the opportunity to just simply tune in and see what happens. And we go as far as we can go with this to try to get to the 270 number right there. And I kind of think I have to pull this. I think we got to wrap this up. I don't know if this is coming anytime soon. And I don't know if we'll get the number. But he's certainly close. And she still has a possibility. Still has a possibility. But if they call Georgia right now, which I think they should, call Georgia. Pennsylvania is very close. Wisconsin. And this party's over. I think she wins Michigan. Even though, let's see where we're at with Michigan. Michigan Trump's ahead with over 50% reporting. That's a 6-point swing in Michigan. A 6-point swing. That is outside margin of error. I think he takes Michigan. So let's say he loses PA. With Michigan, 25, 30. 242. He makes it. So let's say he wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia. He still hits over 270. So you don't even need PA at this point. You could give PA. Minnesota, pretty sure she's winning. Again, if they can't win, holy cow. All right, it's 60% reporting. Harris is at 51, Trump at 46. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Harris is winning Minnesota. Let's see, Nevada still hasn't again. Just call us down, Nevada. You're not doing anything. Arizona, numbers have moved a little bit in Trump's favor. Difference now of about 13,000 votes. So a little bit more in Trump's favor, but a little over 50% reported in Arizona. So if he takes Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, which he's all leading in right now, leading in PA, doesn't need it. I think he has this. I think he has this. There would have to be an epic collapse to end this thing in Kamala Harris's victory right now. Like total annihilation. He'd have to lose Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, which he's all leading in. Well, we'll go through it one more time. Georgia leading, PA leading, Michigan leading, Wisconsin leading, and all of these are over 50%. And 3 of these are over 75%. Actually, over 80% reporting. That would be an epic collapse and possibly the biggest conspiracy, I'll say that, biggest conspiracy ever. We're talking. Like, wow. If that were to happen. Just watching the figures for the individual votes. Donald Trump is up by almost 5 million votes right now. So this may be, well, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to jinx anything. Right now. Okay, we're hitting the 3.5-hour mark, and I'm going to wrap this up. I might do a pop-up tomorrow. So make sure you follow, subscribe to the channel so you'll get a notification if there is a pop-up. And we're going to end it here. I have faith. So he needs either Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. Any of those 3 he gets and he wins. If he only gets 2 and Harris runs the board, Harris wins. President Harris. So, where does it go? Well, I'm going to go take a nap and I'll find out later. So, thank you for tuning in. Watch for a pop-up on Wednesday. If not, check me out Thursday on the 2 Men in a Room channel, where I will certainly bring this up into the discussion as to who the new president is. So thank you, everyone. This has been a blast. Hope to do it again. Hope to have more people on. But thank you to everyone who did show up, and thank you for all the comments that kept me going. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next time. And as always, stay angry.